The walls have eyes. Ella had always been a skeptic. Ghost stories, superstition, haunted houses, all a load of nonsense. So when her friends dared her to stay the night in the abandoned house on the edge of town, she eagerly accepted. It had stood empty for decades, the windows boarded up, the yard overgrown with weeds. The perfect setting for a horror story, they said. When night fell, she sat on the creaky floor in the middle of the dusty living room, a flashlight in hand. The only sound was the wind whistling through the cracks in the walls. Her friends had left hours ago, thinking she wouldn't last the night, but Ella was determined to prove them wrong. As she sat, a strange feeling crept over her. A sense of being watched. She brushed it off, chalking it up to her own imagination. She tried to focus on the old photographs on the walls, the ones left behind by the previous occupants. Faces stared back at her, smiling, happy, but something about them seemed wrong. The eyes seemed too bright, too fixed. Suddenly she heard a soft whisper from the corner of the room. She froze, the hairs on her neck standing up. It was a low, faint voice, barely audible. "Get out!" Ella jumped to her feet, flashlight shaking in her hand. "Who's there?" she called, her voice echoing in the empty house. The only answer was silence. Then the whisper came again, louder this time, from directly behind her. "I said, get out." Ella spun around, her heart racing. She was alone. No one was there. She rushed for the door, but the handle wouldn't budge. Panic set in. She tried to force it open, but it was as if something was holding it shut from the other side. The air around her grew colder, and the shadows in the room seemed to shift, stretching unnaturally across the walls. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw something move. A figure, slowly crawling across the floor toward her, its body contorting at impossible angles. Ella screamed, pounding on the door, desperate to escape. But the figure didn't stop. It was almost at her feet now, and its mouth opened wide, revealing rows of sharp, jagged teeth. The last thing she saw before the darkness closed in was its eyes. Those eyes, staring at her from every photograph in the house, now wide open and watching.